Thank you for joining us for another edition of AARP Foundation Experience Corps in your community. I am your host, and my name is O.S. Owen, and I am your volunteer recruiter for the AARP Foundation Experience Corps program. This is where we seek out those individuals that are 50 and over, who have a passion of reading, who love children, who want to be a part of a child's life. We look out to you to become a tutor and a mentor for our first graders, second graders, and third graders in Chicago Public Schools. If you have any desire, any interest, we're looking for you. If you love children, if you love reading, if you're looking to increase your sense of purpose, we have the opportunity for you. Give a call at 312-622-6806. 312-622-6806. Today, we have in our studios, we have Stephan L. Carter Sr., the managing editor for the 3 current publications. And I'd be remiss if I didn't tell our viewing audience, this is the Black Butterfly, our super fantastic producer for this show. Welcome to the show, Brother Black Butterfly.
Man, you let me get on the show twice on this side of the booth. I appreciate that.
Well, that just lets you know you won't be getting any coal in your stocking.
Well, thank you, sir. It's always been a pleasure to be your studio producer.
Well, you know, it was my intention that the last time you were here, there was so much more that I wanted to cover, to share with our viewing audience, that it was only proper and fitting to bring you back to finish up that conversation. We just have a short period with you, so I want to get as much out of you as I can to share. So let's get right to it, because we just have a short time here. Now, you are going into your 8th year.
Yes.
At the current.
Yes.
You just celebrated the 7th year anniversary.
7th year in November.
You know. So what can we in the community expect in the future from the current?
Well, first of all, I better say that I'm sitting in for our founder, publisher, editor-in-chief, Lisa Dawn Taylor. She has been an absolutely great person to work for. I've been with the magazine, that was the South Shore Current, that was the mothership, since the 2nd edition. And that's been 7 years, we're going to our 8th year. I was here with the founding of our West of the Rhine Current, and also the founding of our most recent magazine, which is the West Side Current.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As I said, Ms. Taylor founded all 3, founder, publisher, etc., my boss, and with a vision. And I've been a part of that vision and adding to that vision over these past 7 going on 8 years. And I hope to do more of that. And I hope to do it in the context that folks should know that the 3 publications that we have, of the 77 recognized communities in the city of Chicago, mm-hmm. we are present in 45 of those communities. Some more than others, but really that's going to be the thrust of our 2022, is to be more engaged in each of the districts or communities that we're in.
Well, just quickly, I mean, I don't want to digress too much. How are these communities chosen?
The 77 communities go back and have changed somewhat over the years since the founding of Chicago. Probably there was no Bronzeville, Chicago in, 1871, if I'm not mistaken. But there have been communities added and some changes and names subtracted, added over the years. Mm-hmm. For instance, some of the communities we serve and people much more familiar with would be in South Shore, would be the South Shore community, would be Hyde Park, it would be Kenwood, it would be Pullman. Some of these neighborhoods in that area, including West Woodlawn, just a number of communities that you're familiar with and people are familiar with will live in, and they forget that they're a member of those particular communities. In the west of the Rhine, of course, there's the obvious Englewood,
yes.
Gresham,
yes.
And some areas kind of cross, like Park Manor is right on the border, and folks don't make great distinctions out of them.
And
But
Grand Crossing
Grand
and
Crossing.
those things. Okay.
Right.
Now, I was just curious, were your communities chosen because of locale, because of community residents, or were they chosen for another reason to inform the community on what's going on?
They were chosen because they are impactful communities that affect that affects our constituency, the people that we both promote in terms of businesses, but also support. For instance, Inglewood's a good example.
Yes.
Supporting AARP in Inglewood and Gresham with the AARP Foundation Corps. Did I get that right today? Did I leave anything
Wouldn't
out?
nobody known if you hadn't said anything.
But I
you
know now,
so
I
that's-
better not leave it out the whole name.
Yeah.
But our involvement, me coming in as a tutor, was supportive of AARP, and we have been supportive of AARP in recruiting for the Inglewood area.
Well, let me distinguish that you not only supported the AARP, but AARP Foundation. There is a distinction there, and just wanted to reiterate that. And we appreciate the fact that by being a tutor, you've allowed us to spread this wonderful program throughout many communities, and to let folks know that the need is real. I mean, the reason why we're here talking today is about, literacy, about the magazine, about reading and writing. And there's no place that we can go in this world without utilizing those tools. And that program, the Experience Corps program, is a literacy program. And we focus on getting kids to a third grade reading level by the time they're in third grade. And obviously, being the stellar writer that you are, you're always looking for new recruits to pass on the legacy, and you are a contributing writer to these publications. We applaud you, and we say
Well,
thank
thank you
you.
for that.
We say thank you. So now let's
But
get...
let me jump on that for a second, can I?
Who's going to stop the black butterfly, huh?
Let me jump on that. We are also, part of our plans expansion for 2022 is to recruit more and more writers so we can get content, we can get exposure, we can get folks who not only write, but also can be in the graphic arts. There are a number of things that to expand, to increase the platforms that that we engage in, and that means more of the electronic things that I'm becoming more and more familiar with.
The digital world.
The digital world, that's
know.
a good way to put it. It's
Well,
probably a good way to
and
put
the
it, yeah.
digital world and the digital divide.
Yes.
In various communities, we see this. Photojournalism, has taken on a whole new role. So we applaud the efforts that you at the Current are doing to expand these opportunities for folks out here who are creative, who are looking to expand. And if anyone has a piece they wanted to submit to, the Current about their community,
Yes.
what's the process and how is that done?
Right now, there are two ways to do it. One, to contact me directly, and I'll give you that phone number right now, 312-662-3106. That's 312-662-3106. That's my direct number for email, not for email, but for texting and to leave messages. Also, you can write us at the Current Magazines, 1940 East 79th Street. We're in the Kirkwood Business Complex, and we occupy office space there, and that's where the magazine's headquarters are. So you can write me at that. You can address it directly to Black Butterfly, Current Magazines, 1940 East 79th Street, Chicago 60649.
Okay. How about an email address?
Black Butterfly again. Black Butterfly 1940 at gmail.com.
One more time for our viewing audience.
Black Butterfly 1940 at gmail.com. That's my email address.
Okay.
And I look forward to getting some correspondence from folks who are interested in writing, providing content, and some other things we'll talk about too.
Well, there's so much that goes on in our communities, and we don't always have a vehicle to share this information. I found personally as well as professionally that the Current Magazine has been a great platform for me to share information about what's going on in our community. So I encourage you in our viewing audience, if you have something in your community that you feel is noteworthy, please reach out to the Current Magazine and share it with the rest of us.
You put your finger on it, that we're looking to draw from our constituency in a form of either civic engagement or community engagement, however you want to characterize it. The bigger picture is probably civic engagement, but then community engagement brings it down to our communities. Communities that we can call, I live in Bronzeville, I live in South Shore, or whatever. There are issues that need to be addressed, that our vision, my publisher's vision, is that we are looking to support the communities, the organizations within the communities in bringing information to them, giving them a chance to articulate those interests, concerns, etc., and to find better ways and solutions to the issues, problems that beset our community, but the positive things that people need to know about our community.
Well, there's so much out there going on, and unfortunately, we only get a chance to peek at those things that are devastating, those things that are evil and nasty and derogatory. With the uplifting, the positive, the creative ideas and things, we look to you and those in our community to share with us what's going on there. Because the news won't always broadcast that, and these things are very important, especially for our young scholars. Those that are out there still learning, still growing, still reading, we need to be their role models and encourage them to share their thoughts, their stories, and their ideas.
Our original ideas were to share the good news. And there's still a lot of good news that we can tell and to share, and we will be doing that too. But I can put on my producer's cap and remind you, you have a commercial. This is commercial.
Well, no, I've already done the
Oh, you done the
commercial, so
commercial.
I'd appreciate it. You be the guest and not the producer right
I can't
now.
help it. It's
Okay?
in my
It's in your
nature
blood. It's in your
to
nature.
produce a
I
good
know.
show for you.
So therefore, taking heed, once again, if you're just tuning in, you are tuned in to the AARP Foundation Experience Corps in your community. I am your host. My name is O.S. Owen, and I am the volunteer recruiter. We look for those that are 50 and over to be volunteer tutors and mentors for first graders, second graders, and third graders in our Chicago Public Schools. If you have a desire and interest to be a tutor, please feel free to give me a call at 312-660-8662. That's 312-660-8662. And we have several targeted communities that we are focused in on right now. The Inglewood community, the North Lawndale community, and the Bronzeville community. And why we have our special guest in our studio today, the managing editor, Stephan L. Carter Sr., otherwise known as the Black Butterfly of the current publication. There are 3 current publications, and they are touching our target neighborhoods. And we have worked with the current magazine to spread information about programs and about things that are going on, and we're greatly appreciative that this publication is in these communities to serve us. Now, how does the current publication support businesses and agencies in the community?
Well, what's important is that we get input from the community to identify those agencies that have importance, gravitas, that are doing something. For instance, Black Star. And people know Black Star by their founder, late founder, Philip Jackson, and their new executive, the executive director, Gloria Smith. They have outreach to a number of organizations throughout the community, and some of the same communities that we serve. And we're looking to further that relationship so that we can both reach out to assist, and they can reach back to us, that we can promote, publicize everything from art to all the good news that's happening, but concerns. And I give one example for now, and we talked about this before. Right now we're reading in the papers, news, millions and billions of trillions of dollars that are getting ready to come into the community as a result of what the president is doing and the Congress is doing. Now, how does that affect, folks look at that and say, how does that affect me in the neighborhood? That's one of the things that we're doing is to identify people who can give expert advice, you might say, on policy, how you impact policy. We've got folks who are just coming out of U of C Chicago, their schools of public policy, etc., that are bringing expert information on policy, how policy is impacted by the everyday person. We need to know, for instance, if our pipes, our water pipes, are providing lead poisoning to our kids, to us, what do we do about it? How can we, the monies that are coming in, it's supposed to be billions of dollars.
Well, isn't that to support the infrastructure?
Yes, exactly. But how do we impact the monies that are coming in to get to our communities?
Well,
the communities that we serve.
Well, I hope you voted. That helps. You know, voting helps. And if you don't vote, then you don't get to complain or argue. So I'm encouraging, everyone in our viewing audience that, our civic duty to support our civic engagement in our community, our first of all is to vote. You have a voice. You have a word. And that's what the currents do. They give us an extension of our voice. They give us the opportunity for us to be heard, not just in our house, not just next door, but throughout our community and throughout the city.
And that's part of the outreach that will be expanded. It's not just going to be the magazine itself, but we also have to have that engagement throughout the electronic platforms, whether it's Facebook, whether it's our website. We're going to put all those together. Print publications are here to stay. I think I'm fairly safe in saying that.
Well,
I believe that, yes.
I like to hold a piece, and I like the feel of the current magazine. It's nice paper, it's shiny, and I can write on it. I live in a digital world, and most of the things that I get are digital, which I don't think I comprehend as well because I'm a touchy-feely kind of guy.
Yeah, one of the advantages for our magazines is that they're akin to the Ebony's magazines and Jet magazines that sat on that coffee table for months at a time, or sat in a dentist and doctor's office for months at a time, and our content is what keeps us there. For instance, and I'm not patting myself on the back, but at the last...
It's okay, I'll do it. I'll do
Well,
it.
thank
Okay,
you.
feel better now?
Yeah.
Okay.
For the last 5-6 months, I've written a column about COVID and all the issues that are related to it, etc. That was a community service. I was directed there and to gather information so that our readers can get real information and not fake news.
And let me say, I appreciate the fact that you shared your personal experiences,
Yeah.
with that, your loss of life, and it was personal.
Yes.
And when things are personal, we understand because we can identify with that. And it was very well written, and I appreciate you allowing us a part of your life. And it was a painful part. And this COVID thing is here. It's our life, and we really have to take hold of it and understand what it is and how we're going to live for it and moving forward with this.
Obviously, I was personally engaged with that, with my younger brother dying of COVID, my older sister dying of COVID. So that was an impetus for me. But there are other writers out there that we're looking to identify that have some skin in the game, and that will be our expert opinions, whether it's in real estate buying, purchasing. We have a new staff member, Sonia, who's going to be doing some great things and already writing about how to acquire property, where to invest your money in real estate, etc. The content is going to be expanded, and that's what I'm excited about, too.
So, as we talk about these dollars and these monies that are, coming into community,
Yes.
How does the current view this? And what does the current say in this? Did this question make sense?
Oh, it makes sense, and our publisher wants to address that. And our publisher statement every month has some specific topic. And I think we're talking about, her latest one is going to be about the art, the effect of art and the impact of art of the African diaspora specifically, and where you can start to get a feel for what we're all about is through art and how that affects and impacts us.
Now, who picks those phenomenal covers? They're always of a piece of art, a sculpture. I mean, in fact, after I kind of, read the magazine, don't be mad with me, I like to cut out the covers and kind of put them together so I have this beautiful collection of artwork that I didn't pay for. So who picks out those covers?
That's been the forte of Lisa Dawn Taylor. She's been in this business 20, 30 years. The magazine is relatively new, but she's been in the art world and picturing it and knowing what works. I sometimes give her copies of the not New York Times, but New Yorker magazine. And her works would rival, if you look at a New York magazine cover, and that's the kind that you cut out too.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll give her copies of that too.
I don't cut out the New York.
I cut out the New York.
Now, the works are from local artists, or it's from artists
Yeah, most of them
throughout the city of Chicago?
But yeah, throughout the city, and from with very few, I can't think of any exceptions right now, to be honest, of anybody other than an African American artist, photographer, sculptor, etc. We've had some of the best in the world. We've had Richard Hunt has been on our cover. Some of his work has been on our cover. So you'll see some of the best artists in the city, but some of the international artists too.
Now,
I'm at national.
we talked about the digital world. Is the currently available in a digital format?
Yes, it is. And I'm not the one to give you that. I'm sorry, I'm not the one to do that, because I have been more focused on the print.
Well, that's
Yes.
okay. So
If they call me, I can give them that information.
or if the folks in our viewing audience could Google it and find it, would they be able to do it that way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
But call me too.
Call you too, and
Yes.
that number is
312-662-3106. 3106.
once again.
773.
Look at it.
No, 312.
That's why I say it twice.
312-662-3106.
And what's your email address again, sir?
blackbutterfly1940@gmail.com.
If you're just tuning in, we are here with the wonderful, the fantastic, the dynamic, the outstanding Black Butterfly, otherwise known as Stephan L. Carter Sr., the managing editor for the 3 current magazines. We're so happy to have you here in our studios today. And I'd be remiss to say not only are you an outstanding, managing editor, you're a phenomenal writer. You're well-read, well-traveled, well-dressed. You've been a faithful and true volunteer to the Experience Corps program. You've been a stellar or stalwart brother of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and I guess you were president of the Theta Chapter.
President of the
back in
Theta
the day, right?
Chapter back in '63. I was editor of the Chicago Defender collegiate page back in '63, '64. So my writing experience goes back, and it's been a great, fulfilling experience for me, writing.
So now, if you couldn't read, could you be a writer?
I'd probably be digging ditches someplace or in some penal colony.
So, reading is essential, and this goes out to anyone. You're never, never, never too old to learn how to read. I have some senior folks that I'm close to, and they shared with me recently that they didn't read well. And I was able to connect them with some other organizations that had the patience and the time to guide them. So if you're out there in this current time and you're feeling isolated, please, if you need to learn how to read, reach out. There's plenty of opportunities from cradle to grave to assist our folks in the communities in learning how to read. And if that's the issue, please give me a call at 312-660-8662, and I will connect you with one of our partnering organizations to help you guide you along that literacy path.
I should mention too, and I'd be remiss if I didn't, one of the places we're going to be doing some recruiting is at NLEN's, what's the bar's name? It's the B Cafe, right? Be Love.
Be Love Cafe.
Be Love Cafe.
And NLEN stands for?
North Lawndale Employment Network.
Look at the audience. Say that
Yes.
again now.
NLEN, North Lawndale Employment Network, a fine organization, I think about 20 years at least in existence in North Lawndale, making an impact on North Lawndale and Chicago community generally.
I hang out there occasionally, so if you were to stop by the Be Love Cafe for a nice fine cup of coffee infused with honey,
Yes.
you may catch me there. Their hours are from, I believe, 8 to 4, Monday through Friday. Stop in if you're in the area and check it out. It's a wonderful experience, but it's a phenomenal organization serving one of our targeted communities, the North Lawndale community.
That's probably one of the location drop points where our magazines will be. Also, the Black Star magazine offices, Black Star offices on 35th and Martin Luther King Drive. We will be working with Black Star and Gloria Smith over the coming year. That's one of the things that we're going to be more engaged with. That type of organization that knows how to reach out, that can identify the stalwart people in the community, the ones that you can trust, the ones that are doing something for the community. That's one of the reasons that we are making the connections and solidifying the connections between Black Star and NLEN, but there are others in the making too.
Now, is the magazine still available in the public library?
Well, yes. Well, it's going to be available again. We could not put it in the library at one point because they felt that touch was a way to transmit COVID. But I think, if I understand it correctly, that touching and having magazines in the library are not an occasion for contracting COVID now. That's my understanding. So we are slowly going back into the libraries. I know in South Shore, the one at 73rd and Exchange, and Avalon, and in Bronzeville, there are libraries there that our magazines will be in. And we're identifying expanding the drop points of business, etc., that we support them. They can support us by having their magazines, our magazines, in their locations.
And 95th and Halsted at that particular library was
Big one, yes.
one of my favorite spots to
Yeah.
stop through and
Right.
look at the copies.
Historically important.
Yes. So we just have a few minutes left. What, can you tell us that we don't know about the Current and why the Current is so important and why we in the community must support the Current magazine?
Well, print is going to be important for a number of years, just as I see it. And I think all the, not the pundits, but the publishers know that. There's a significant audience for print that are not digitally inclined or able. So it is there for them. It is that the aspect of having a coffee table thing for you to reference, look at periodically, go back to, and say, well, let me see what they have said about that. What expert, whether it's in financial, whether it's medical, whether it's political, these experts we will be bringing and will be delivering top-notch commentaries, content that you can trust. And that's the critical part. We will have people that you can trust both in their expertise and their intentions.
And you do this monthly.
Monthly.
You put out 3 magazines monthly. That's just phenomenal. It's a lot of work, and I can imagine. And we want to say thanks to you and your editor-in-chief
Lisa Dawn Taylor. That's
for
the
her
one,
efforts.
yes.
Once again, my name is O.S. Owen, and I am the host of the AARP Foundation Experience Corps in your community. I am the volunteer recruiter for the AARP Foundation Experience Corps, and this is where we seek those that are 50 and over to be tutors and mentors for kindergartners, first graders, second graders, and third graders in Chicago Public Schools. If you love children, if you love reading, if you want to make a difference in a child's life, please give me a call at 312-660-8662, 312-660-8662. And thank you for joining us in another edition of AARP Foundation in your community.
Thank you for having me today.
Have a good one.
All right, you too.